and welcome to Cayman Conversations, now streaming on Cayman Times Facebook and YouTube channels, and also live on Bobo FM 89.1. We seek to elevate the level of media conversations with special guests from all walks of life during our 30-minute conversations. If you wish to appear on Cayman Conversations, email me at ralph@caymantimes.ky or just call me at 916-2000. Now let's get started with the first of our two great conversations and our special guests of today. Good afternoon, Madam Speaker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lewis. How are you?
I am doing extremely well. It's my pleasure to welcome for the first time into Cayman Conversations. I know we met some time ago at an event you had in West Bay, and I was really impressed that it was the start of a district council. Can you tell me what motivated that event?
Well, before I get into that, I just want to be clear because I know that there is a little bit of confusion when we use the word district council. And I think district council comes from the original intention of having an advisory body established back in 2011 when there was the passage of the District Advisories Council Law 2011. So for the avoidance of doubt, what I've been saying, just to be clear, is that the constituency of West Bay Central has established an interim district council. Because when you say the word district council, some people think that we're referring to the entire district. Okay. And I do believe that we will eventually we'll get there, but we're starting with the constituency that I am responsible for. Now, to answer your question as to what motivated me establishing this, it is something that when I was campaigning, a lot of residents were really concerned about not really having an advisory body established for the relevant members of parliament. So I gave a commitment that it was something that I would establish once I, if I had been elected. So I've been working on it, and I know that there are other members of parliament that are also, looking at establishing district councils. But that's really what started the movement for me in terms of getting it established. And then the mere fact that the District Advisory Council law is already there. So you sort of have a guide on how to move forward. So I really didn't feel that it would have been something difficult to get going. And that's really what motivated me to establish it. Not to mention, as an MP, and especially navigating through COVID, I really saw the importance of having one central voice or advisory body. It would have been so wonderful to have had, a group established from back then to get a collective voice of the constituency.
Okay. Actually, you answered my next question. What's the role of a district council? But you actually saw the benefits of a district council. And before you elaborate on the role, you were successful in getting individuals selected for that council. And can you update on who are these members and how hard it was to get the involvement of those?
Well, it wasn't very hard to get members involved. What we did from a constituency standpoint was we actually reached out and asked persons in the community to send in nominations. So there was a nomination period and the applicants were vetted. And the process of vetting was determined from, I had a series of meetings in the constituency leading up to the establishment of the council. So I got feedback from constituents on what they felt would have been important for this interim body. And of course, one of the things was they wanted to ensure that the persons that were on the council were, they were registered in the electoral boundary for West Bay Central. So the vetting process required my team to go through and ensure that persons were indeed registered in West Bay Central. And then the other requirement was for persons who had applied to be in good standings with the law. And so, that was a series of vetting as well. So we had a number of persons that were nominated, and then we had, as you know, Mr. Lewis, there was an evening where we did the establishment of the members. So the members are: the council chair is Mr. Clint Hunter. The deputy chair is Miss Charlene Rogers. And then we have a youth ambassador, Al Ebanks. And then we have a few other members, Miss Glenda Ebanks, Roberta Jefferson Powery, Jehu Rivers, Dobreen Maxwell, Charlie Brown, Shamar Harding, and Sophia Bryan. So those are the members.
Okay, very good. And are there special age groups that these members fall in, or are they representative of the community that you represent?
Right. Well, one of the things that I wanted to ensure was that, we had a diverse group of representation. So I ensured that we had a representative for the elderly. So we do have one of those members is a representative for the senior citizens, or as you know, a lot of our senior citizens don't like to be referred to as senior citizens. They prefer to be referred to as retirees. But, the age group from 60 onwards. And then we also have a representative for our youth, which I think is very important, because we want to ensure that whatever concerns the young people have, it's getting their voice is getting to the representative in their area, and then by extension to the government at hand.
Very good. Have they met since that last meeting? Have they had meetings, and have they reported back to you with any findings or recommendations?
Yes, well, not findings or recommendations as yet, because they're still trying to get established. I did get an update, and I'm happy to report. I was actually happy to have been advised that, let's see, because I actually jotted it down here. So what's taken place so far is the council has had, they had the first commencement meeting. And then following that meeting, the chairman and the deputy chair, they have established a mission statement, which has now been agreed on by all of the members of the council. And where they're at, I've been advised that their next step now is for the council to meet and greet with constituents in West Bay Central. So they're currently working on a meet and greet project. So also policy guidelines for the council are being established by the chair and the deputy chair to be agreed on by the members.
So it's happening, and I applaud you for these efforts, and the committee as well. There are many times we talk about things in our life, but not many times we execute. And I believe in executing, and I'm happy to see that this is happening. I know, of course, there'll be tweaks and changes as you go along, but would you comment on what changes do you think might be necessary as you develop this council?
Well, definitely the makeup of, I wouldn't really say the makeup of the body of the council. Like what I'd mentioned in the meeting that we had, or the series of meetings that we had, is that this body, and this is what I pride myself with in regards to establishing this, because this body isn't a political, this isn't affiliated with me as the MP for West Bay Central. There may very well be people in this council that are not, their political affiliation may be different, right? So as a result of that, it's done in a democratic process that the MP or myself doesn't overstep boundaries and try to dictate to this council what their remit should be. It's really a body that's established to advise the MP on areas that they have collectively been discussing. So for me, where I see that there will definitely need to be some sort of amendment or change would be as we move forward. The original law, the District Council Advisories Law 2011, that was passed when we did not have single member constituencies.
I see.
So that will definitely now require, as this law is revisited, we'll definitely have to consider the fact that, and I know it now is, we're having discussions right now about electoral boundaries, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
it will have to be reflective of the way in which the electoral boundaries are established.
yes. And that's very good. And but I want you to just emphasize the importance. Yes, there may be changes and tweaks, but what is so important and necessary for district councils?
Again, I think that just having the collective body, one of the things that I've said to a number of people is that there's no need to reinvent the wheel. And I'm just going to pull up here the District Advisory Act, or its law. It makes reference in section 3.3, right? It speaks about advising in relation to finance, tourism. So all of the different, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time elaborating, but employment, community affairs, housing, health. So pretty much it's a gist of any topic that, is concerning to residents. And I often talk about people power. And I know that a lot of times, all of us residents are, going through periods where we're frustrated with a particular matter. And this body, I feel, is a vehicle to help drive change, because what the body will do is they'll sit and they'll discuss what the issues really are, and then take it to the MP, and then the MP would then be responsible of taking this matter to the government. And it could be that the MP, well, right now, like I said, this is an interim council, but I'm hoping that it will continue to grow and that other MPs will eventually establish a similar grouping. And then it could be that the MP is not on the government side. So they will then force that MP to take their concerns to the government at hand, to just ensure that the government is aware of the concerns of the relevant constituency.
And you're so right. It's so important that the representatives understand that they represent the people, and the people should be heard, and the people or the voters should feel comfortable with approaching the representatives, and these are the forums that you can have for those such meetings. And I know that the MPs are very, very busy doing their jobs, but of course they're still representing. So I can see the district council being that additional assistance to collect this information and collate it and present it to you. What are the next steps for your district council?
Well, again, right now, that's what I've been advised that the council is doing is, their next steps that they've advised me. Remember now, I don't really dictate to them what they're supposed to be doing. The only thing that I am trying to ensure that takes place, which is that they have some sort of rules or policies in place, which they've already started working on that. And I think that for the council, they're going to start to do, the meet and greet project within the community. The other thing that I know that the council will more than likely be working on will be mapping out how to move forward from interim, into a council that's not an interim council, where the election process, is done in a fashion in which the members actually feel they would agree on, in terms of how members will be elected.
Okay, great. Have you received any feedback from other representatives from the district or from anyone regarding this step that they've taken? Are they in support or they
Um,
find
I've
issues?
received a lot of positive feedback from residents, not just my constituents, residents, around the island, just saying that they're happy to see that it's starting. I know that there are other MPs that have advisory councils, but one of um, the feedback that I have received so far is just that residents are very appreciative of the democratic process in which the council has been established. It isn't really a council that's been handpicked. It's just persons that were nominated from constituents in the West Bay Central constituency. So it's been a positive. I've been receiving positive feedback. I do feel that receiving an invitation to come on your show was very welcoming for me, because I've heard a couple of times now where reference has been made that there are no district councils established. So I know that I need to get it out there a little bit more what the district council is actually doing. And I know that, and I'm saying district council again, so I don't want to confuse it, the West Bay Central Constituency Council. And I
Yes.
know that the council chair and deputy chair will be going on air once they have, it's still early stages. So once they have everything sort of established, then they're going to be, coming onto the airwaves to tell the country what they're doing as a collective body.
Yeah, and that's indeed. And as a media owner myself, I understand the need to get the information out. And there's a lot of information that doesn't reach where it should reach. A lot of things are being done and nobody knows. And
I
the
agree.
question, why is it done? So we need to do a better job at getting that information out. And that's why we're creating these platforms that, you can come on and you can talk and we write about it, because it's about dissemination of information. That's our role, to get the information out
Yes.
to the community. And in our last 5 minutes, I want to just switch gears a bit and to
Mm.
congratulate you on your appointment to the Speaker of the
Oh,
House. This seems to be the year of the woman, because we
yeah.
have a lot of women in major, major roles in this country. And I
Yes.
applaud you for accepting and performing in that role admirably, as I can see for myself. But do you see more women taking more major roles as we progress in our lives?
Yes, absolutely, Ralph. And I'd like to thank you for your kind words. I feel proud to be in this position to represent not just the men of the country, but the women, and to be able to display that, you know, a woman's place, isn't just at home. Women can get out there and be working mothers. And, I'm not the first woman to be in this position, and I'm certainly not going to be the last. We already have trailblazers. We have, I don't want to start calling names and forget some of our former female leaders. But there's a long list already of women who have paved the way for women like myself. And, my only goal in this position is that I will motivate and encourage other women to put themselves, prepare themselves for any type of position of leadership that
Yes.
their heart so desires, because it's certainly possible. And women are needed. You don't want to, come across like a feminist, but women think differently than men, and we need a good balance. We need both. So it's certainly a very proud moment for me, and I'm happy to be here and happy to be able to represent the constituency of West Bay Central. I know, some people were concerned about me taking the position of speaker, but as I said in my what do they call it, maiden speech as speaker, the Speaker of Parliament in the UK, who I actually just saw a few weeks ago now in Anguilla, he is very proud of the fact that being the speaker affords him the opportunity to have conversations that he couldn't have from his capacity as an MP. And so there's certainly ways to get things done, even in this seat, and I'm excited to see the things that are going to be rolling out for the constituency of West Bay Central.
That's good. And on that topic, the children are the future, and having role models such as yourself, taking these positions, it sends a strong message to those young girls and young women coming up that there's a senior role in society for you, where that was
Absolutely.
more dominated by the male. I have a lot of respect for women, and not only that, I came from a woman, my mother, and that's
Mhm.
but also women make better money managers. In my training in financial discipline, women are better at managing money than men. And those are the kind of things. Even the Cayman Islands, when the seamen went away, they sent the money home to the women who
Mhm.
managed it well and who did well. So when you see the role of women in the Cayman society, you can see that that was established years ago.
Right.
And so what we are seeing now is just reality coming around. And I congratulate you and I applaud all the other women who have taken up major positions. And I wish you all very, very well. Any final words?
Just want to say thank you, Ralph, for inviting me on the show, and I want to congratulate you for launching your talk show or your radio show. I know that you have been working for many years, in media, with writing. So I'm excited to see that you have now launched this platform, and I'm very honored that I had an opportunity to be here today, and I look forward to having more conversations with you about any topic that you would invite me to come on and talk about. I think that it's important for us to, have different conversations and, you know, um, like I said, encourage people power, because at the end of the day, it's the people who are really the game changers, in this country.
Yes. And thank you very much. And I wish you all the best. Have a great evening, Catherine. And see you
Thank you.
soon. See you
Thank you,
soon.
Rob.
Red light.
Yeah,
Na, 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 na.
the sun is up, the sun is up. The sun is up and it's smiling. Another clear blue perfect day.
Paradise.
A warm breeze from the ocean.
Warm breeze blows your troubles away.
Next Wednesday. Oh yeah.
A walk on the white sandy beaches.
A call from the turquoise sea. You know you're right where you're meant to be. If you find yourself believing, if you find yourself still dreaming, if you find yourself in love with life, you found yourself in Cayman kind. We're in Cayman kind. Are you Cayman kind? Living in Cayman kind. If you find yourself believing, Cayman kind. If you find yourself still dreaming, Cayman kind. The sun is up, and it's high. The sun is up,
Cayman time.
blow your troubles away. If you find yourself believing, Cayman kind. I wanna walk with you
Paradise.
on the white sandy beaches.
The sun is up and it's smiling. Another clear blue perfect day. Paradise.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so so much for having me on. So, hello, everybody. My name is Amber Com, and I am a parenting practitioner at the Family Resource Center. I work with families and to improve family life. And just as you said, for the month of May, we observed teen pregnancy prevention. That is our campaign that we've tokened I Am Worth the Wait or Worth the Wait. So we do a lot of workshops in schools, a lot of, information sessions, just to get the word out and empower families and teenagers to make smart decisions, especially during this month of May. Right?
Okay, and that's great. And I'm so happy to talk to you because it's something that we tend not to want to talk about teen pregnancy. When I told one of my staff that I was going to be talking about today, they said, "Okay, is it up or down?" And so we want to get into some of these details, but maybe later on. So that's what's the title?
So I am a parenting practitioner, meaning I work with individuals, families to improve family life. So say, for instance, you have a child experiencing, challenging, or they're demonstrating challenging behaviors. I may work with that family on a one-to-one basis. I also facilitate a number of groups. One of the groups I facilitate or I lead is our Young Parent Services. And that program caters to young parents between the ages of 13 to 25. And it's very structured. We support those individuals with parenting skills to enhance their parenting skills. We also look at their employability and enhance those skills. And then we also have a component called Interstate, where they pretty much just reflect on their own journeys, and it's looking at things like relationships, their self-worth, their values, all those sort of things. So I'm also the chairperson for the Teen Pregnancy Prevention Campaign. So I have a team within the Family Resource Center who we meet regularly throughout leading up to the month of May. And we just kind of see where is there a need, what is a population that we can go and work with to ensure that we're empowering these young people or even parents to, encourage their children to make smart decisions, right? That are not going to have these negative long-term effects, right? So I'm a parenting practitioner, and that is just kind of very surface level, but there's so much that I do and the Family Resource Center does. So even though, we're in the schools, we're doing presentations, we're doing workshops with parents, if you are a parent and you kind of have thought, well, I don't know how to talk to my child about this topic, it is something that we encourage regular discussions about. It's not just a one-time, birds and the bees big discussion, right? It's about planting the seeds in an age-appropriate manner from a very young age and continuing on with that discussion throughout the years. So we're just trying to encourage parents to do that. And if you need help, that's what we're here for. We're the professionals. We have, information from reliable medical professionals and whatnot that we've been presenting on, so we can kind of hold your hand and say, hey, this is how you go about having this discussion, right?
Okay, great. Tell us a little bit more about the campaign that just completed. Was it one-on-one, or was it group sessions, or were you on social media, or were you on radio?
Most definitely. I'm so happy to speak about it because I feel this May, so our Worth the Wait Teen Pregnancy Prevention Campaign, it's something we've done for over 10 years now. I believe we're in our 11th or 12th year. And this year, we were able to get into the Francis Bawden Children's Home. We're doing sessions in there. We've gone into a number of schools and presented the workshop in there. It's a 6-week workshop that we've been in. We've covered a number of different topics. We start off just talking about your values and your self-worth, right? And it's a really, I think the example. Hello?
Go right ahead.
Are you able to? Yes, sir. So we start off talking about your self-worth and values. And when we're thinking about like the value you apply to yourself, I always think about water in Cayman, right? So say, for instance, you go to one of the priced right or cost you less where you can buy things in bulk, you can get water for relatively cheap, right? Perhaps you can buy a case, and in each bottle may be like maybe 70 cents or whatever the value would be there. Then you may go to a corner store. Maybe here on Mary Street where we're working, we have a little corner store. I go in there and I can buy the same bottle of water for $1.10, right?
Yes.
Then when I go to Camana Bay and I go to watch a movie, the same bottle of Aquafina water may be
Yes.
$5, right? And it's just all depending on where that bottle of water is, the value is assigned differently, right? So I use, whenever I'm working with young students, I tell them about that, that's example.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're like, I pretty much make them relate to that. You are like that bottle of water. Depending on where you are, people are going to value you differently, and you have to be mindful as to what environment you're placing yourself in and what the value is assigned to you, and also apply a higher value to yourself, right? So it's very empowering when we go in, and then we just start off with that, and then we go into reflecting on relationships with like your family members and how the impact that has had on you, and just observing what do healthy relationships look like, what do unhealthy relationships look like, right? Because we know not everybody gets to benefit from a family environment that's healthy, right? And just bringing awareness to that, because sometimes when you see something or you've been in something for so long, it may not necessarily be healthy. And if that's not challenged, and if you're not shown that this is the correct way and this is what a healthy relationship looks like, then that unhealthy relationship becomes a norm, right? And then when you have these unhealthy relationships and you don't value yourself very much, you're then falling into certain peer pressures and you're led astray. And then that's when we start to see things like, teenage pregnancy, because you made a poor decision trying to find validation or trying to seek love, right? So just really empowering students to value themselves and really, make sure that they have high self-worth.
Yes. It's very interesting, very interesting. I have a question about the society. As you know, the Cayman Islands has been sort of conservative. And do you feel it difficult to speak about this topic generally in the society when you make presentations? Or do you
Yeah,
feel it is welcomed and it's embraced?
most definitely. It is difficult to speak to persons. Another thing that we had planned for the month of May, we planned a talk early, talk often parent evening, and we did have some registrants, but unfortunately it wasn't as highly taken up as we would have hoped. So it is something that is it is a taboo topic to be talking about sex to children, and it's not, I just want to ensure that all viewers understand we are not encouraging any sort of early sexual engagement or anything. It is a case of empowering young persons and parents of young persons to make sure that you're developing your sexuality in a healthy manner. So it's not a case of if they need to know this information, you can present this in an age appropriate manner, but of course it's when you're getting older, when you're above the age, when you're at the age to consent and older than that, it's whenever you do choose to engage in those acts, you're making smart decisions then, right?
Yes.
So I always say, every time I do a presentation on the topic, I always say it's not a case of if you need to speak to your children about it or if your children need to know this information, it is when. Because it's natural, it is all a healthy part of developing as an adult, as a young adult. Everyone, you will develop some form of sexuality, sex is a normal part of life. Even when we're looking at research, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it pretty much just it's a hierarchy which looks at the foundation is pretty much just your basic needs, right? And you're looking at things like food, water, and sex is a part of that, right? If we did not engage in sexual acts or have sex, then there would be no more life to go on, right? So it is something that's very normal. And I always say it's not a case of if you need to have this information, it is when you need to have the information. So we try as best as possible to engage the community, but it is something that is still quite taboo, and we're trying to break the taboo and help parents understand, and also other persons who interact with kids understand that it is something that we do need to have these discussions, and it is quite difficult, but we're still making some headway, and I think we're becoming more a little more liberal, but there's still some improvements to be made, and some persons can definitely have a little bit more of a change in mindset, but we're making progress.
Yeah. And just to just jump in here, because I know you have a lot of stuff to talk though about,
Yeah,
but we
and
believe
please
that
jump in. I'm very wordy, and I think it's because I'm very passionate about
yes,
the topic, and it is because of my experience. I do, like I said, I do head up the Young Parent Services, and I know we'll speak about it in a bit more depth later on, but having a child before you're ready, whether you're an adult or what, it is very difficult, and I can talk a bit more about those impacts.
yes. And what I would like to say at this point is what you rightly said. This information is not available, readily available, or communicated. And as a media owner myself, I want to make sure that we offer our opportunities to educate everyone, not only the girls, but the boys and the parents, because we find in small societies that a lot of things are taboo and they're hidden. But times have changed now. And whereas there are many other things that we talk about, we should take time to talk about these topics that are affecting our lives. And education is the key to success. So I encourage education, and I think we need to have these conversations over and over again. That's why when I record these, I play them over and over again so people really hear it. And that's how we learn. When you study and you repeat over and over again, that's how you get better. And so therefore, I applaud you. I admire your passion, and there's so much we need to get out there. So let's get back into the conversation. Yes.
Can I also add, so another, it's just because it is very true, it takes two to tango. And yes, we are targeting young ladies. We've, done small workshops with very vulnerable young women, but we also do target young men. And something that I feel really proud to boast is that the Family Resource Center just piloted a new program within the Clifton Hunter High School, and hopefully we'll be able to take it to other high schools, but it's specific to young men. The program is called Choices, and it's pretty much, it's an evidence-based program where it targets, the choices that boys make as well, and that's relationships, how they view themselves, the choices that they're going to make, how they're going to plan out for the future, those sort of things. And we also did do teen pregnancy prevention content during that Choices program. So it was very well received. I do believe they did 10 weeks of that within Clifton Hunter, and I think that's something that we'll definitely be addressing in other schools going forward. So it's not a case of we're trying to capture as many persons as we can, right? But of course, during the month of May, there's only so much you can do. So we do try to also do things like our early talk often. We've done that on the web, and that should be on our Facebook page, the Zoom recording of that. But like I said, if there's ever any questions that a parent may have, they can always just connect with us. It's very easy to do a referral for the Family Resource Center. You can go online, and it's just a very quick form, and we're able to provide you with that reliable information as well to speak with your teenage daughter or son.
How has the feedback been during the campaign to those people that you've reached out to? Give us an idea of what they've sent to you or how they accept this information.
Okay, so there have been the populations that we have worked with predominantly throughout the campaign. We've gone into one of the primary schools, and they were very, very appreciative. Of course, we presented in an age-appropriate manner. This was to a year 6 class, and they were very, very appreciative, and they understood why we were in there. They didn't want us to leave. They were like, "Miss, are you gonna come back when we're in high school?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." But we also, like I said, we worked with those very risky, that risky population of young people as well. One of the alternative education units, I did a 6-week. It was more so like an 8-week course because we broke it down in there. But they were super, super appreciative, very well received on the students' part. I just wish that we did want to do something with the parents, but again, like you had you asked the question before, is it hard to speak to, other persons about it, like adults, the parents? It is quite hard, and there is some resistance. So that I guess that would be like the feedback that we've gotten. It's not that it's completely absent, but it isn't as much as we would like. And so I think in the future, what we would love to do is just normalize that, hey, this is a normal part of life, and hey, this is really a conversation that you should be having regularly.
And what you said just makes sense. You will get more, it'll be more receptive to the younger folks because their minds are open and they want to learn as much as they can. And it's up to us to put the right things in front of them, or what we consider right, so they can learn those as well. Because they will tune in on Facebook, on social media, and they'll pick up everything. So it's only important. And the parents or the older folks have not been exposed as much as they have been at their age. They might see it differently. And so it's sort of a mindset and a culture that you will have to work with, and try and over time get them to buy into what we're trying to do.
Yeah, when I have worked with parents, I tell them, this is the reality is, as a parent, yes, you parent the way that you were parented for the majority of the time, right? But as a parent, you have a certain toolbox. And what I always encourage parents to identify is you're parenting in a different time than when you were raised, right? So you can always add tools to your toolbox. Yeah. And the reality is your children are going to be talking about it, or they're going to be hearing about it from friends. So you should be ensuring that whatever information they have when it comes to sexuality is reliable, accurate information, not tiptoeing around the topic, and then your child is getting false information from their friend, or maybe their friend did something and this didn't happen to the friend, so they feel like this is normal. And it's really interesting. Whenever I go into the schools, sometimes I start off with a little true or false game, just making it interactive, engaging the students, making it fun, and making it so that they want to come into the session. They feel like this is a safe space, building that rapport. And whenever we're doing the true and false, it really shocks me to hear how many false or how many they get incorrectly, So it just kind of shows, or it's evidence that the accurate sex education is perhaps, I wouldn't say lacking, but needs to be increased.
Yes, there's a
because I'm not entirely.
There's a shortfall, yes, and it needs to be emphasized more.
It needs to be emphasized more.
If we can just spend a couple of minutes now talking about the challenges created by teen pregnancies. We're talking about how to educate people about what to do, what they should be doing, but in a society where it exists, how can it impact society, and what are the challenges that the number of teen pregnancies have?
Yeah, most definitely. So what I can tell you is, since COVID, according to statistics we got from the hospital, there has been an increase in young adult and teen pregnancies, right? That's fact. I work firsthand with the young parent services, and some of the impacts that has had is, of course, unemployment, strained family relationships. Some have not finished high school, or they're not motivated to go back and finish high school despite us offering to, support their studies. There could be sometimes domestic violence because, again, you may not have had, you don't have that familial support, and you feel forced to stay in a relationship where you have to put up with certain behaviors that are harming you because you don't have anybody else to support you financially or provide you with housing. Lack of housing recently has been a very, very, very big one. We have, some girls are in our program, so there's some young parents in our program that they just don't have that familial support. The family wants them out because of lack of education or lack of qualifications. They're not able to go and work, or maybe they don't have childcare. So it's like this sort of cycle where they're stuck and there's no help for them. And some of them are underage, so they're also not able to access any U at this stage in their life. So it is very, it's very much a struggle for us to be able to support them, because if there's simply just not agencies that are in a position to help them, it's just hard, right? So I think I've covered the main ones. It would be, poverty, lack of housing, underemployment, or even unemployment, domestic violence. I think those are pretty much the main five.
Main challenges.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then because of those challenges, you then see like that reliance on the government, and it's just a cycle, because it's like there's also not enough childcare institutions on island. So even when you get the funding to put your child in childcare, there may not be a space, and because you can't get a space, you're not able to go out and work and build up your work experience. So there's many challenges to it, but of course we're trying to support and empower them as best as we can. But most definitely it would have to be the unemployment. That's very hard.
So
Even
there-
right now, for our young parent services, we have a very strict, somewhat strict criteria when it comes to graduating from our program. That entails we do assessments to just look at their parenting philosophy. We also encourage them to do they have to do the 10 hours of community service, and then they go into work experience, and they're expected to do work experience for 6 to 8 weeks. But it's proven difficult for us to even secure some of the internship opportunities, because right now students are coming home from university, and when you look at a student who is leaving or is currently studying or pursuing tertiary education, and then you look at a young mom who has a child, and that might prove as a barrier for her to get to work on time, or even sometimes come to work if the child is sick. Obviously you're going to choose maybe the school leaver, the college student, so even that is somewhat of a struggle that we've faced. But we do have some good support from a number of businesses or companies, and we're just trying our best to get our girls put into placements.
Yes.
So that's kind of what we're dealing with and what we're trying to support our participants with right now.
Well, I'm happy to see that the Family Resource Center is there, because if there was no Family Resource Center, where would these girls be?
Mhm.
And before I start to ask you about fathers in a minute, is your department big enough to deal with all these challenges that may come up in the near future, or do you or do you think that you
No,
should expand?
Yeah, so we are small but mighty. The Family Resource Center only consists of 10 employees, including our clinical supervisor and our program coordinator. So we have 8 parenting practitioners currently. So it is quite challenging, but I mean, we have a manageable caseload. We don't have. It's not a case where there's like too many young parents and they're just like not being seen or not able to access services. Everyone that needs to access services, they're welcome to come into the program. We're starting a new cohort in September. So if anybody watching, if you know a young parent who could benefit from improving their parenting skills, their employability skills, and also just working on themselves, please do get in contact with us. It's very easy. Sorry, can you just
Yes.
what was the
Yeah.
question? I think I got a little carried away.
I haven't asked. The question was, do you think you have enough staff in your
Oh yes, yeah.
department to deal
So
with?
yes, when it comes to staffing, so like I said, we're a small but mighty team. So even the 8 parenting practitioners within the Family Resource Center, there's about 4 of us that are on the Young Parent Services team. But we definitely were able to address all client concerns and work one-to-one with any young parent that comes in. But we do work with a lot of other agencies, whether that be our sister agency, the Counseling Center. We make referrals to the Needs Assessment Unit regularly. We're in contact with social workers at the Department of Family Services. So it's very much a multi-agency approach. And we're here and we act as advocates to ensure that our clients get what they need, right? So even though I noted a number of challenges, maybe it could be lacking basic necessities because of, financial struggles. We're not going to just say, oh, go over there. We're sitting with them. We're filling out the application forms. We're ensuring that these young people get the support that they need.
Okay, very good. All right. Is it easier for mothers to deal with teenage pregnancies than fathers
Oh,
from your experience?
I no, I would not say. Obviously, it's more taxing on the physical, but of course, like I said, it takes two to tango, and we do have young fathers who they also come into the program. And right now, we don't have a large enough number of those in our program to have a group setting. So we service them pretty much on a one-to-one basis, but we're still providing them with that support, and they have a lot of challenges as well. Um, it can be very difficult because, like I said, some of the challenges may be your inability to complete schooling to the expected level. That also affects a young man if
Yeah.
he fathers a child before he's ready, and then he has to leave school because he's seeking employment, and because he didn't complete school to the expected level, now he's struggling to find a job or even move up within the workplace, right?
Yes.
So it's equally as hard just trying to provide for a child
Yes.
and gain employment and just make ends meet.
Yeah, so
So we're
teen
still,
pregnancies, yes. It also
yeah,
affects both sides, both the young lady
yeah,
and the young man. But actually, I was
yeah,
looking at
and
the support from the parents, and that's the question. And thank you for giving that answer because I wasn't really going to ask it, but the question is asking in relation to the support, the parents, how do they accept when their teenage children become parents before the time?
yeah, it is a difficult one. It's obviously usually a major shocker, and it can cause that family strain. Um, Usually, it is the participants in our program usually they may lack some family, how would I put it,
Support?
yeah, they lack the family support, but a lot of the time they're also coming from families that weren't like they weren't healthy functioning families
Yes,
either.
I understand.
So it
Yeah.
just kind of further strains that
Yeah.
already established strain,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So a lot of the time we'll see our young parents coming in, they may be
Mhm.
16, 17, and just like lacking that parental figure
Yeah.
already. So I would, to answer your question, I would say that it does create quite a strain, but we do have some parents that are supportive of their children and are pushing them to still better themselves. We have some persons in our program that are in college, and we see them on a one-to-one basis. So you don't necessarily have to go into the group portion of the program. We can also service you on a one-to-one basis if you are a young parent and you do have a job, but you still want to enhance your parenting skills. So yeah, we definitely have, I would say it's a mix. Obviously, it is something when it's unexpected and you're encouraging your child to make healthy choices that are not going to be detrimental to their future. It can be something that really causes a strain on the relationship and sometimes even the breakdown of that parent-child relationship. But for the most part, I would say it's definitely a mix. You see some parents who are supportive, some who are just like, that was so disappointing. I just don't want any part of it.
And I always believe in let's to focus on the solution. Yes, there are challenges here, and this will happen
Mhm.
because it will happen.
Yeah.
It's something that happens. And like we mentioned, we are here because our parents came together. So these things will happen. But how does the community deal with these issues? Everything can fall on the government and your family resource center. But if we can encourage some of the parents, family, churches to get involved in this challenge and to care for these young kids who have made bad choices, at least they can learn something and it will send the positive message. So we're looking at solutions to deal with this issue that exists today. And so therefore, I want you to just give me a bit of your thoughts on how can the community come together and help deal with this challenge that your department is tasked with dealing with?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I must say that we are always appreciative of donations. We have a donation pantry here to ensure that none of our young parents, and especially the babies that come into our agency, they go without anything. So we have Pampers, wipes, medication, baby food, when it comes to interacting with us. But overall, the community can just be, very supportive and empower young people who have children at a young age, because like I said, the real struggles would be not being able to access work, right?
Yes.
So recognizing, hey, this person, it's already difficult for this person, let me not make it more difficult for them, right? Recognizing that, okay, this person, yes, has a child, rather than them not being able to work, not being able to gain that work experience and move themselves up the ladder, let me provide them with an opportunity. Because if not, then all you're going to see is reliance on the government and whatnot, right? A number of people unable to get work, and then they have to go to the needs assessment unit. So definitely providing them with opportunities, but also being that person that a young person could perhaps go and confide in, and making sure that you're open-minded and in a position where somebody can come to you and say, hey, this is difficult, I need help, anything like that. Just being very open-minded. A part of our program as well is we are encouraging our young parents to access mentorship, because we do recognize, like I said, some of them come from families that weren't, functioning in a healthy manner. They might have been exposed to domestic violence, or being raised in a single parent household where they weren't able to benefit from a healthy parent-child relationship. So we're trying to set them up and really benefit from mentorship. So accessing a partner agency like Big Brothers Big Sisters now, that those are the sort of things that we're trying to do. So when it comes to encouraging the community to support our young parents, it would definitely be, providing them with that opportunity and being a listening ear, being a mentor, and empowering them and helping them realize that, hey, okay, this is, something that this is a choice you made, and this is a consequence of your choice. However, that doesn't mean that you're not able to do certain things, right? So, okay, maybe I, as a teenager, 13-year-old, I thought, okay, I want to become a lawyer. Yes, now that I have a child, that may be off the table for me right now, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible, right? I just need more support. And that's where the community comes in, right? To provide those opportunities and to really push you to be able to fulfill your goals.
If there are some commercial entities that heard this conversation and would like to, provide some kind of support, can they reach out to the Farm Resource Center with their donations or assistance or guidance, or, maybe they have employees, can they reach out to you directly?
Yeah, most definitely. So like our email is the frc@gov.ky. We're best reached by email. Our phone number is 345-949-0006. So just remember the 0006, very easy. And we're also very active on Facebook. We're active on Instagram. Both pages are just Family Resource Center. And we also have our Rethink Parenting radio show that happens every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Bobo. So that's something that we've been trying to get the word out in other ways as well,
Yes.
right? So that's recorded and uploaded to our Spotify account. It's Rethink Parenting. So yeah, that it's easy to get in contact with us by email or just giving us a quick ring, and we accept donations if they're, even if you want to drop them off to our physical location on at 87 Mary Street. We're on the second floor.
Okay, great. Any final words for our listeners, or parents, or young parents, or kids, or school kids, or anyone?
Yeah, so what I would just say is just remember, young people, parents of young people, or even parents of young children, just remember that it is a very important discussion to have over and over. It doesn't have to be, like I said, the one-time big talk, birds and the bees talk, or even something that you don't talk about at all, because like I said, it's not a case of if your child needs to know about these things, it's when, because it's all natural. It is a healthy part of development. And just make sure that you're providing your kids with reliable information that they can use throughout life. And please do get in contact if you feel like you need some advice when it comes to, presenting that in an age-appropriate manner.
Okay, very well. Well, I want to thank you, Amber. I have learned so much, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you about this hot topic, or cool topic, or nervous topic, but it's a great topic that we should be embracing, and because teen pregnancies affects everyone. It may not be my daughter or son.
It definitely does. It affects
everyone.
It affects everyone. Most definitely.
and
Thank you so much for having me on, Mr. Lewis. We greatly appreciate the platform to be able to speak about what we do and the importance of Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month in May, but just, all year round when it comes to just preventing teen pregnancies, because we know it's not just an effort that is we do or we push in May, but it's an all year thing, and we really encourage parents to just keep talking about it.
Okay, very good. And thank you, and I hope to see you again. Would you come back and talk to me in the future? All right. Well, maybe we can get you on here once every 2-3 weeks, because I'm sure we're going to have some questions coming in on our social media page as well, and you could answer those questions too. So thank you very much, and regards to your team for me. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining Cayman Conversations as we seek to elevate the level of media conversations with our special guests from our walk of life. Remember to like, share, and follow Caymanian Times social media pages. Don't forget to pick up your copy of our Wednesday and Friday newspapers at locations across the islands. Cayman Conversations is a production of the Caymanian Times newspaper. Have a great evening, and remember to drive safely on our roads. Goodbye.
I wanna love you more. A man looks to his woman, says, I don't know what you see in me. You make me feel this way. Many years go by, we live, we laugh, we cry. She said, from the start you stole my heart. I wanna love you more and more. And don't you know I wanna love you more and more. Friends in a car, one says he's going far to make a better way. The other he exclaimed, I wish I felt the same. No matter where you go, I want you to know that I wanna love you more and more. And don't you know I wanna love you more and more and more. And don't you know, out there on the streets, strangers we will meet. We all have different views to show, but if we join our heads and hands to make a master plan, see the colors make a beautiful rainbow. Oh yeah, oh. Oh yeah, oh. What in the world have we come to? This life should we run to? We all know the answer. Ways to skip the forgiving. Look at the life that we live in. I want you to know that I wanna love you more and more. And don't you know I wanna love you more and more and more. And don't you know, though we come from different sides, living different lives, ooh, that's okay. It's still the same old sun shines on everyone every day.
real life story. Listen up while I chant down Babylon. Black my story, don't try to stop me. 500 years under colonial plan. Emancipation, liberation through democracy. Long time we trod in freedom roads and still not free. Equal rights and justice for humanity. We want one God, one aim and one destiny. Black my story, not history. I come here to mash down Babylon. I black my story, don't try to stop me. I just this time in a Gideon. For the thieves, bloodsuckers and the wagonists, I'm here to tell you, say shadows will come to light. If you want to stay alive, make your deeds positive. And no more sorry excuses are gone bye-bye. Good night, yeah. And now I lay you down to sleep. I know your mama weeps. I cry, yes, I cry. But that's the way we're living out here on the street. Black, black, black. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You have to fight the wicked when you will. Black my story. Weeping and the wailing and the gnashing of teeth. Black my story. Don't try to stop me. I come here suffering but down Babylon. Black my story. Real life story. A judgment time in a Gideon. Discrimination, segregation and hypocrisy. Mental abuse and economic slavery. Equal rights and justice with morality. We want one God, one aim and one destiny. Unite, unite, yeah. Freedom fighters take the streets. No time to be weak. I cry, yes I cry. But Jah will take the curse away from I and I. Black, black, my story. Black is not history. Black, 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 my story. Black is not history. Black, 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 my story. Black is not history. Black, 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 my story. Oh yeah, yeah. Black my story in misery. I come here suffering but down Babylon. Black my story down in Milwaukee. I just this time in a Gideon. Yeah, black my story. Don't profile me. I come here suffering but down Babylon. I black my story. Real life story. I just this time in a Gideon. Black my story. Police brutality. Listen up while I chat on Babylon. Black my story, don't try to stop me. 500 years under colonial plan. Yeah, black, black, black my story, cause we should be free. I wish I was a child again. I wish I was. When I was a child, happy to be alive. Before the evil days took away the youthful prize. When I was a child, they gave me no time. When I went astray, they put me back in line, back in line. I wish I was a child again, free and wild again, always climbing and inspiring. I wish I was a child again, a child again, child again. Let me swing on a limb, there I talk with my invisible friend, climbing a tree, swimming in the sea. The best things in life are always free. The best things in life are always free. The best things in life are always free. I wish I was a child again, free and wild again, always climbing and inspiring.
was a child again. A child again, child again. Tell me it's okay to go out and play with the children of the day, with their magic eye, basking in the light. Taking flight, taking flight. I wish I was a child again, free and wild again, always climbing and inspiring. I wish I was a child again. Child again, child again. I wish I was a child again. I wish I was child again, child again. Child again, child again. Miss everything. Where have you been? Oh, I've searched for you my whole life through. Miss everything. Miss everything. Where have you been? Oh, I've searched for you my whole life through. Miss everything. She walks and talks the way I love. Miss everything. She's a special kind of girl, and I want her in my world, Lord. Make good love to me, make good love to me, make good love to me all the time. Miss everything. Where have you been? Oh, I've searched for you my whole life through. Miss everything. She walks and talks the way I love. Miss everything. She's a special kind of girl. Let's just let this love unfurl, Lord. Make good love to me, make good love to me, make good love to me all the time. Miss everything. Where have you been? Oh, I've searched for you my whole life through. Miss everything. She walks and talks the way I love. Miss everything. She walks and talks the way I love. Miss everything. She's a special kind of girl. Let's just let this love unfurl, Lord. Make good love to me, make good love to me, make good love to me all the time.
Ooh, ooh, class, you teach your class now. Exam time now. Show them your pass now. One in the green now. Back it up and push it out and swing it up and bring it back down and put on your face and match up the place and turn around and roll up your waist and back it up now, push it up now, swing it up and bring it back down and turn around and spin around and slow it down. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. You're a nigga. Come to the front now. Push up your hand now. Show off your work now. Push up your grade now. You justly love mercy, walk humbly. That's how the world should be. Don't judge a book by a cover until you look under and see just what the pages read. Misunderstood, misconstrued. Don't let your attitude ruin the best of you and me. I just wanna be free to be the best part of me. Don't watch me drown. Show me love when I am down. And now we need equality. Let me tell you about my brother called Ray. Now down here in the islands, Ray is Ray. But back home, his identity, his birthright is out of sight. 'Cause all you see is white light. You never saw the man, you never saw his heart. 'Cause all you ever saw was the black part. I'm a black man, the best you ever known. Let me step up on this microphone and take a seat on my throne. There's other black kings who don't submit to the system and don't need to wear the ring. Power to the people, got my mind on blast. About to take this message to the street, fast like flash. And in the dash we gon' flash, breaking down these barriers to race that's been dwindling our past. I just wanna be free to be the best part of me. Don't watch me drown. Show me love when I am down. And now we need equality. Our hearts are so deceitful. We don't realize that we're all equal. But everyone's repairable with a gift that's a miracle. There's a crown of great renown in the book that's upside down. So open up the page, dissipate the rage. It's time to engage. It's time to engage. I just wanna be free to be the best part of me. Don't watch me drown. Show me love when I am down. And now we need equality.
Hey, Lord, Lord, Lord. Well, 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 well. Yesterday I was broke. Today I got paper beyond your dreams. Past gone up in smoke, and everything ain't what it seemed. Real comeback story. Come back, come back, come back. Real comeback story. Yesterday I was womanless. Today you checking out my beauty queen. Who job bless, I say no man taste. I believe that for real. Real comeback story. Come back, come back, come back. Real comeback story. Yesterday I was walking the block. Today you checking out my chariot. And some wanting what I've got. You put nothing in this pot. Real comeback story. Come back, come back, come back. Real comeback story. Yesterday I was broke. Today I got paper beyond your dreams. Has gone up in smoke, and everything ain't what it seems. Real comeback story.